The new mutants face their first enemy. Maystorm isn't the only mutant with electric powers, and Noriko Ashida is here to make sure she knows it. A fun summer festival turns haunted and dangerous as spirits and Surge collide. Plus, the Shadow, who has been haunting Armor, finally reveals his true face. Ultimate X-Men Volume 2, Issue 5. A diabolical genius known as the Maker used time travel to create his ideal Earth by systematically preventing anyone from ever becoming a superhero, except for those on his secret, the Maker's Council, whom he sanctioned to rule over different regions of the world, including the eastern territory of Hainan Kuni. There is a teenage girl named Hisako Ichike. Armor had new powers awakened to protect her when a sinister shadow attacked. Ever since the shadow has followed her, bringing dark and unusual occurrences with it. During a recent confrontation, a group of onlookers caught Armor's power on video. Though her friend Mei Igarashi Maystorm fried their phones with her lightning powers and damage was already done, the next day the video was trending on social media. Armor and Maystorm don't understand the source of their powers, but another classmate, alleged psychic Nico Minoru, claims they're mutants. We open up with Shinobi Kageyama, the Earth 616 Shadow King, watching Tsubasa being bullied on his smartphone. Shinobi's first name means stealth, while his family name, Kageyama, means shadow, depending on the kanji used. This alludes to his mutant powers. We also have Noriko Ashida, Earth 616, also known as Surge, looking at her smartphone across from Shinobi. Surge asks if the world's Shadow King has any plans for summer break because she needs help fixing her computer, as she always ends up breaking them. A surge of electricity runs up her leg as they both see the viral video of Hisako Ichike. Shinobi and Hisako went to middle school together, and although Shinobi has done many creepy things, he insists he didn't do this to her. Surge is curious about Hisako's secrets, but Shinobi replies, maybe one day. In the last issue, Surge caught Maystorm's lightning recording the video, and it was implied that she was the one who uploaded it to make it public. Shinobi makes an excuse that he has to go because his friend is calling him. Surge sarcastically replies, like you have friends. Shinobi responds, have a nice summer. Don't work too hard before leaving. We pick up in Armor's room as she sits down with Maystorm and talks about the shadow, describing the first time it appeared. As she speaks, the shadow manifests before her, seemingly taking over May's entire body. The shadow tells Armor that he just wants to be friends, insisting that they are the same, that they have powers no one else could ever dream of, and that together they could control the entire world. Armor then snaps out of it and finds May and Nico sitting before her. Nico is claiming that she is a psychic, that all three of them are in effect mutants, though none of them fully understand what that means just yet. But Nico is here today because they're going to try to figure out what has been going on with Armor ever since she has given this little amulet. Her powers have manifested and the shadows has failed her around. As Nico tries to observe it, trying to get some kind of reading off it, she looks at it, she observes it through a magnifying glass, shattering in her hands, and then from the amulet, this is when the boy begins to come through. He's been using the amulet to show up wherever he wanted. Now they have been exposed. The shadow crawls out of the admin in a state of panic. Nico takes out a book and slams it on the shadow. The Shadow King is squished under a book as Nico says, this thing is what has been stalking you. When Maystorm lifts the book, the Shadow King reemerges, but Nico's magnifying glass is shattered. Whether it is merely a magnifying glass or something more sophisticated is currently unknown. It's seemingly capable of detecting mutants. Then the same magnifying glass elongates like a staff and the crack is repaired. Whatever the magnifying glass is doing, it seems to be working to get rid of the Shadow King. Nico is surprised that she was able to do this. Nico Minoru explains, my grandmother gave me this. There's more to it than I thought. A pack made with blood. I've read about this in my grandmother's research, so it really is true. Meanwhile, Hisako retrieves her Amamore back. As we pick up with Surge, it's unclear exactly what's happening, but we do know that this guy owes owes her money for a service. We see Surge fry his brain, rob him, and then take off. Back at school, Surge spits her gum at a picture of Shiro Yashida, the Sun Emperor. Shiro Yashida is the Sun Emperor, one of the leaders of the geopolitical region named Hai no Kuni, which was among the 7 sovereign bodies whose combined power governed the entire world. He led one of the 3 Pacific clans that consolidated into the Harada Yashida alliance, along with Silver Samurai and the Viper. These 3 leaders of Hai no Kuni were part of a secret council under the world's Imperator, the Maker, who orchestrated geopolitical conflicts and alliances to unite their citizens under a common cause. Surge is clearly not aligned with the Maker. As Surge passes Nico and May turns around, noticing Surge, thinking she looks like trouble and not the fun kind. May says to Nico, "Hey Nico, about our powers. You said we're mutants. Do you think that Shadow Uzi guy is a mutant too? Do you think Hisako is going to be okay left alone? She's still pretty shaken up by the video and everything." Nico replies, "Hisako is not a child. She'll get over it. Even if we find out who's behind that shadow, Hisako needs to face her fears or nothing will change." May then asks, "You said something about a pact with blood. Is that how you got your powers too? I got scratched by a cat." Nico responds, "Blood is the only initiator. Who did you make the pact with and why?" May replies, "If I knew that, we wouldn't need your help. You're the big psychic. You tell me." Nico says, "I've heard rumors of a cult that performs rituals with blood." Nico explains, "The Shadow King is part of this cult, and so is his mother. They have a secret chambers hidden within what looks like a regular office building. One theory suggests they gather to experiment and learn. They call themselves Homo Superior Mutants. This cult believes they are the progeny of humanity, the next stage of evolution. They use a sigil, the same one I saw in Hisako's Amomori. My grandma was obsessed with this cult. I read all her research, but I thought it was a myth." May says, "Okay, let me get this straight. We're going to have to fight an entire cult, like a bunch of people with powers just like us, but they're crazy?" Nika responds, "Don't get ahead of yourself. First, we have to find out if they even exist and then see if they have anything to do with Hisako and her shadow stalker." May adds, "And then fight them?" May then says, "If we're fighting bad guys, we're going to need a team name." "I got it. X Team." Nico asks, "Why X Team?" May replies, "Because we all have bad grades, a bunch of X's on our test." Nico responds, "Speak for yourself. I get an excellent grades. Besides, we're not in elementary school, you know." May then suggests, "Then how about the Secret Society X-Men?" Nico says, "X-Men? I guess it sounds better than team." May adds, "You can invite Natsu and Mori too. We don't want to leave anyone out. Do they have powers?" Natsu Chakumisi is the Earth 616 equivalent of Cyclops. She wears an eye patch on her right eye which conceals a red eye. The design of Natsu, whose name means summer in Japanese, includes visual cues that suggest she is an Earth 616 counterpart to Cyclops. These includes the eye patch covering the red eye and a tracksuit reminiscent of Scott Summers' style during X-Men Volume 2. Mori is Earth 616 counterpart of Molly Hayes from The Runaways. She is similar to Molly Hernandez from Earth 199,099, differing in ethnicity from her main counterpart. In Earth 616, Molly is an 11-year-old member of the Runaways who possesses super strength. This is the beginning of the formation of the Secret Society X-Men in the Ultimate Universe, Earth 6160. Next, Ultimate X-Men Volume 2, Issue 6.